911 emergency.
We just found a body in the room.
Is it dead?
Yes.
How do you know he's dead?
I was walking by and I see bloody footprints. I called the manager to see if it's okay for me to peek it.
And you know for sure he's dead, like he was cold to the touch?
Yeah, the place is soaked with blood everywhere.
911 emergency.
There was a man murdered in one of the rooms here. We called paramedics about an hour ago, and nobody's showing up.
I'm not sure how much longer it's going to be, but officers and paramedics are aware.
When officers showed up at the Days Inn in Albuquerque, New Mexico, they were met with a scene of intense violence.
Albuquerque Police Department, if you're in that apartment, make yourself known. Albuquerque Police Department.
The hotel room was an absolute bloodbath, every corner marked by the aftermath of a brutal struggle.
Police Department.
Investigators later determined the victim had been stabbed more than 80 times with a hatchet.
Check to see if he's alive.
Still watch.
You need any of your gear?
No, he has like the clear spinal fluid, like brain fluid. He's definitely
Okay.
His lips are great too.
Okay.
He's 10-7. Oh, he has good laceration on the back of his head.
One step on now.
Somebody was in there last night.
Last night?
They were there for 4 nights.
Right. I got it. Thank you. Obviously deceased, blood everywhere. So we see footprints coming from here all the way to the unit right over there, 117. So here are the footprints. So that's where the body is. There. And then you start trailing. It starts to slowly taper off. One right here. The very end, right over here.
The front desk provided officers with security footage showing a man and a woman entering the room, and moments later, leaving covered in blood.
They go in, come out bloody. They walk down to the end, and then they walk out, follow, and go out where my unit is.
So much dinner.
I'm not bad. I haven't kind of made sure to step on the dryer spots.
Holy shit, is that?
Yeah. That's, no way. No, it's Aaron. There was a struggle.
It's going to be a fun one to clean up. Who does that? Who cleans that stuff up? House cleaning? Ooh, that sucks.
And I bet you they're going to take all the sheets off and use the same mattress and just put new sheets on.
The woman in the surveillance footage was identified as Angel Salazar, age 40. When police questioned her, she claimed it was a male named AJ that was the aggressor. Angel insists she was only a witness and that when she left the room, she didn't even think the victim was dead.
I asked about to use the restroom. I went in and heard some bickering. Then when I came out, Mr. AJ had some type of knife in his hand or machete. He was fighting with him, and then I noticed a lot of blood, and I tried to stop it. When I tried to stop it, he cut my hand. At that moment, I completely froze.
You said that Ramon was alive when you left? How do you know?
Because he was talking. He was cussing. And I was like, oh my God, oh my God.
1 year later, before she even went to trial, Angel volunteered to go on record to share the full story in detail.
You're here voluntarily.
Yes.
At any time, you can stop us anytime. We appreciate you being here.
So Angel, I don't know if you remember me. It's been a little while since we've talked, but I'm Connor Coleman, the primary detective that's working the case. It's nice to see you again, and I'm glad we're sitting down at the same table together again, okay? I guess before we start talking, one of the things I want to let you know is it's a massive priority to me in this investigation to identify the man that went into that room with you.
Yes.
That, of course, it's not all I care about. I want to know all of the facts, but that is a huge priority to me. If there's anything that you've told me before that isn't accurate, either because you remembered it wrong or because you told me something that wasn't true, I'm not upset about that. Okay. I really, really, really
just want to know the truth.
I just want to know the truth.
Yeah.
And getting the truth is worth all of the time in the world. All of the time in the world. I'm on call right now. I picked up a case yesterday. I have an abundance of work to do. but it is worth all the time in the world to get the truth from you. I mean, no disrespect when I say this. If that isn't your intention with this conversation, it's not worth any time to sit down and hear anything that is untrue. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Okay. So, what can you tell me?
I'm willing to, if you show me like a photograph and tell you if that's him, it is him. I want to get down to the bottom of this as well. This has been a horrible experience for me. I've never thought I'd be in this experience, and I want to figure this out probably way more than you do. I just want to get to the bottom of everything and figure out why this happened and you know, why was I put in the middle of something like this?
So this impacts you in a compelling way, of course, in a intensely personal way, naturally. But I'll be entirely honest with you, Angel. If I had a picture of who did this, aside from the pictures from the surveillance footage, we wouldn't be having this conversation, right?
Yes.
Because then I would know who it was, and then, you know, God willing, they'd be in custody shortly thereafter. So, this is where you tell me.
Okay.
This is where you help me.
Okay. As far as I know, he was from Colorado. He was in his 30s.
Okay.
He did tell me that he had family members in Texas.
Okay.
I was told that he was from Pueblo. I don't know how him and Ramon knew one another. I know that they were talking early in the morning when I was getting ready, and it was his reasoning why we went into that room.
And I'm sorry, explain that to me.
So I met him through another person, and I was supposed to go in there with another guy, but the guy that I walked up to the motel with, when I went in to try to go get the room, I didn't have enough money. So the guy that I was supposed to have the room with said he didn't want to, and that's why I landed up with the other gentleman, the Justin Antonio guy.
So what is his last name?
Vargas, I believe.
Vargas. Now, this is a question I have to ask you. We sat down, I believe, about a year ago, maybe more than a year ago. And there was no last name that you provided then. What I'd like to know is, where is this information coming from now?
I really sat back and tried to remember every single detail of what I had conversations with him, what he said to me. I try to go over a billion times of, you know, everything that went on, and, you know, I'm trying to do everything that I can to figure this out, because I really want to know where he is, because he deserves to be, you know, locked up, not myself, for doing what he did, you know. And I have tried to talk with John and tell him I'm here to try to figure everything out as much as I can.
I was hoping that the nature of this conversation would be a little different.
Maybe if you were to ask me, I'm not sure exactly how I'm supposed to, what I'm like.
Well, and I'm just going to be straight up.
Okay.
I think you're being untruthful, Angel. In fact, I'm very confident that you're being untruthful.
But I'm not being untruthful, and I know that you feel that way, but I'm not going to put my life on the line for somebody else I don't even know. I don't know this person. I don't have no ties with anybody, and I'm not even from here. And I want to know, I want to get to the bottom of this with everything.
Okay.
I mean,
Had you ever met Ramon before?
no, I don't
Never.
think, no.
So can I interject?
Absolutely, of course.
So, Detective Coleman investigates everything. It's going to be in my hands to take this to trial. I'm going to be straightforward. Like I said, you're here voluntarily,
Yes.
and I appreciate that. I'm watching video right now. I'm not trying to.
Like, you've seen this. You guys are outside of Ramon's room.
That is correct.
You and this guy.
Yes.
What are you doing?
Okay, so so when we got the room, okay, me and Justin got the room, okay. The people had my information there because I had stayed there almost the whole, within a month, possibly. They knew all my information because I would get rooms there all the time. This person, Justin, went ahead and he kept going in and out of the room that night
And
before.
which room?
The motel room that we had was
The one you were staying.
102, yeah, 102, 106, something like that.
Okay.
And I
Is
stayed.
that this room that Ramon ended up going back into and getting killed in? Or are you talking about a different room?
I'm talking about a
Different.
different room.
Sorry. And
Yeah.
just to clarify, is that Justin?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So the guy that went in there with you, that is Justin.
Yes. That night he kept going in and out while I was in there and I was washing clothes. Then the next morning, when I got out of the shower, him and Mr. Ramon were in my motel room. And when I came out of the bathroom, they were saying something about Ramon needed clothes, so Justin was giving him clothes. So I thought that they somewhat knew each other. Then a few hours after that, then the manager had us leave, I believe between 9 and 10. And then before we left there,
And this is you and Justin?
that is correct.
Okay.
And let me see. And then after I left my room, he said, let's stop by here real fast. And I said, no, I didn't want to stop there. And he said, it's going to be like 10 minutes. So when I went in, then that's how everything happened.
What happened?
I went into the room and they were smoking methamphetamines. And I didn't want to smoke that day because I wanted to, I was sick and I wasn't feeling good and I didn't have very much strength and to go and meet somebody else to go find something to get better. I went into the bathroom, I turned on the light, and when I was in the bathroom, I heard like thudding, like shuffling. I figured that they were fighting. And then when I came out of the room, I seen them, Justin hitting Mr.
Ramon Martin.
Yes, sorry.
You're good?
I'm sorry, I'm really nervous.
Yeah,
guys.
no, and I understand it's a nerve-wracking process.
And I tried stopping it, and when I stopped it, my finger got cut, and I froze, and then I wanted to get out of there, and I left the room, and then I went back for my crystal roller because I got crystal rollers, and then I left, and I didn't.
And may I interject? Is it okay?
Yeah.
Tell me about going back for your crystal roller.
I had a makeup bag,
Mm-hmm.
and I went and I got my makeup bag because I had taken things out of my suitcase when I went into the bathroom,
Mm-hmm.
and I figured like he was fine. I didn't know that he was dead. He was still like yelling and cussing, and I thought he would be okay. And when I left, I didn't think anything was going to happen to him.
This is after you left the hotel room?
Yes.
Can I interject? Have you seen photographs of the crime scene?
No.
I'm not trying, I'm not trying to set you up for anything. This is,
Okay.
if this was a trial and the lawyers do their thing and
No.
they know more than they're asking. The reason I'm asking if you've seen the photos, this guy was bludgeoned halfway to death. It was so obvious that he was he was beyond dead. So please understand, there is no way that when you left the room, you thought this guy wasn't like totally gone for good from this earth. There's no way.
Can we have a second?
Sure.
I'm just going to turn that off. So I believe Mr. McCall, it sounds like, had a conversation with you about providing new information that hasn't been provided. What new information do you have that hasn't been provided?
The information I have is that I believe that the people at the motel had more info than what anyone was saying. Some of the ladies were saying that they knew that Mr. Ramon had money. There was people that were losing drugs in the motel with the cleaning people. I feel like some of the people knew more than what was going on there than anything.
Okay. So you had knowledge Ramon had money?
From the transcripts, yes. And
so don't tell me about witness statements. Don't tell me. We are here to talk about information that you have based on firsthand knowledge.
Okay.
Please don't tell me what other people told me.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I genuinely don't need theories from you.
There was the guy the guy that used to work there at night.
Mm-hmm.
Tom would walk around with a machete all the time.
Yep, I know that.
That's Tapia.
Yes.
Yep. And you know that because
I've seen
familiar
him.
with.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know that I already know that.
Oh, I didn't know.
You're familiar with the case material, I know. So it's things that you know.
Okay, things that I know. What else do you know?
Because here's the thing: was Tom in the room with you?
No.
Okay, so it wasn't Tom.
But Tom was the first person to call. Like, how do I know that Tom didn't do that and then call somebody?
How do you know Tom didn't do that? Because you were in the room when this man did it. Because you've already told me that. Angel, what are we doing here? I'm not trying to be argumentative, but Angel, please, if you're not going to tell me truthful things that you know, then I think that Derek and I probably, there's no utility for us being here and having this conversation. Genuinely.
Which is okay too.
Yeah, and that's okay. I'm not trying to harangue you.
We will have a trial, and we'll see what information is available.
You understand
about the case
charges against you,
but
I don't want to go down for something that I did not do.
We don't want you to.
Well, and you have.
Well, there's two possibilities here. Okay, one is that what you're saying is true, and I'm here to defend you on that. Okay, and that certain things happened that were out of your control. And the second is they don't believe that you don't know the person that was involved. And they believe that you know more about sort of why this thing may have been planned if it was planned. And that information would help them. So one of those is true. It doesn't. A jury will sit in the jury box and decide which of those is true.
There was something about that, and and apparently there was something going on with some type of money, and someone was mad at someone. I don't know. I try not to know too much because I thought the less I knew, the better off that I would be.
Well, you know what a honeypot is, right?
No. What do you mean?
Okay, a honeypot is a pretty girl who is often used to set somebody up to murder them.
Oh, no, I would never
to rob them.
I would never rob anyone.
Okay, but that's a very common thing that we deal with in our work.
Okay.
And so a girl is often used to get into the room. because the person's expecting to be with the girl or whatever. And so that's called a honeypot murder or a honeypot robbery.
No, I was not there to rob anyone.
But do you understand why the authorities are wanting to know, what you know? Because from their perspective, given all the facts that were in play at the time, this could look like a honeypot murder.
No, I would never do that. And I didn't have a reason for anything like that. I would never put anyone in a situation that way. I'd never. I've never had any type of background of
And
anything.
I'm going to say that again with the utmost respect and empathy towards you. I know you are a human being, and I know that this, regardless of the facts, the entire process has been placed a tremendous amount of stress on you. I know that. The purpose of this conversation, of course, is not to, plead your innocence to me.
I know.
Because that is, again, you will have due process in a room much like this where there will be a jury sitting right there. So I believe the evidence exists to convict you of this crime. Okay? Now, again, my opinion on that matter is simply my opinion on that matter. It's up to the state to prove those things. And you have defensive counsel, and the rights of the Constitution are afforded to you just like any one of us. Okay? So I say that to say there's no need for you to plead your innocence to me.
Is there any way that you could show me Renee? Or
that picture of her?
Yeah, can I see a picture of Renee to see if I remember her? Is there a picture that I could see of
Have you ever been to Pueblo, Colorado?
Yes, I've been to Pueblo, I've been to Colorado Springs.
How many times have you been to Pueblo, Colorado?
I don't know. I've been to Texas, I've been here, I've been to Santa Fe, Las Vegas.
Let's just take Pueblo for now. And I know, I couldn't tell you how many times I've been to LA exactly, but I could estimate it, right? Are you able to estimate how many times?
Maybe 100 times.
Okay.
Yeah, I live in a small town, so we would go and.
You're from Raton, and it's right up there. I know. Okay. When you spoke with, and this is something I want you to really lock into.
Okay.
When you spoke with who we believe to be Justin, possibly Justin, but the man that went in the room with you, you told me that you think he might be from Pueblo just now. We're not just now, but during this conversation, right?
Yes.
Do you recall how you came to learn that information? Did he tell you that?
Yes.
And again, I'm just thinking, if it were me, and let's say it's somewhere I visited 100 times, and let's say John and I found out John was from somewhere I've been a lot of times, I might share a conversation hey, have you been to this place? Or you ever seen this? Or have you ever done these things? Just because it's a place that I know we'd be both really familiar with.
Okay.
Did you guys talk about anything like that? Anything you might have had in common up there? Any places you would go to?
No, but he kept talking about his family from Texas. And that he was there and his mom had passed away. And I told him what would bring him to New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying he didn't really have people. So he did tell me that, God, I'm trying to remember. Conversation. It's almost been.
You said he didn't go to New Mexico a lot? Since his mom had passed away? Or I didn't?
I think he didn't really have anyone. Okay. It sounds like he had lost his mom. He had family in Texas. Was his mom in Texas?
I think so.
But he was from Pueblo, and I'm kind of making the assumption that if he was from Pueblo and he said he lost his mom and didn't really have anyone, presumably he didn't have anyone in Pueblo either. Maybe he just was from there.
Yeah. He said he was from Pueblo, and what else did he say? He was mad because the guy from his house kicked him out.
Okay. His house where?
Here in Albuquerque, he was staying with somebody.
Okay.
It was kind of close to the because it's a hospital close to the motel, right? The hospital, and then there's a park close to that.
We went over this before. We were talking about Presbyterian Hospital
Yes.
and Roosevelt Park.
Yes,
That's what you're talking about.
Yes. He was somewhere around there.
Because she doesn't know the.
Yeah, the names of just that area.
And he was real anxious. I felt like he was a little frustrated with something, and I kept thinking I was frustrated with me, but I mean, but when he, I want, is there any way I could see pictures of Renee?
Of Renee? I think I'll need a minute, but I might be able to scare one up for you.
Okay. So then I could see, like, if I can remember her or not.
Like a family connection.
Yes. Sometimes I'm not good with names, and sometimes I'm better off with faces.
Yeah.
If I were to see, then maybe that can refresh my memory with something.
I think that can be a helpful tool.
Yes.
So, another question I wanted to ask. So, Justin from Colorado, when did he get to Albuquerque? I ask because that, again, just my thinking, not necessarily, but again, when I find out somebody has, let's say, come to Albuquerque from somewhere else, one of the, commonly I'll ask, like, oh, how long have you been in town? Can you remember that?
Not really.
Do you remember talking about this in the last interview that you did?
Kind of a little bit, yeah. But I wasn't there to know the guy. I was there I was prostituting myself to have a place to stay at night and not be in the streets. And
I have some more questions. They're gonna have to get you back. I appreciate you coming down here. Like I said, I'm not gonna hide the ball. I'm gonna be straight up with you. My office is the one that handles any possible plea negotiations. We're not there yet.
We have a trial on April
7th, potentially.
I don't think it's trial. The trial will be later on April.
Oh,
okay.
Sorry.
That'll be a relief because I have a must-do trial in Moran with Christine.
And there are other possible continuance, but here's where my head's at with that. So I'm going to show you some video you may have seen. So this is right before. I'm not trying to have the ball. You have all access to this, but this is.
I've never seen these pictures though.
Well,
you've seen the picture, but you haven't seen the video.
Yeah, this is surveillance video this is right before you guys go on the run. Okay? I'm not making it up. This is the video. This is the evidence I have going to trial. He's not wearing gloves. And there's going to be a shot. Still a shot of right after you guys come out. Now he's wearing gloves. This guy hacked Ramon Martinez to death in front of you. We know that. So if you're telling us that's not true, like, we don't have anything else to talk about. So we know that. If you left the room and you didn't think there was anything, like this guy was totally gone, that's what you left the room. And let's see, this is what was going on in the room when you guys left. So you got to understand why when I sit here with you and you say, I didn't know if he was going to be okay. We know that you know he was dead. Okay, we know there's a guy in there. He had a hatchet. We don't know your entire involvement. But right now, we don't know who he is. Ryan Martinez. This is the daughter of Ramon. She said she knows you.
Do they know the father of my kids somehow?
And that's, what's his name?
Antonio.
Yeah, he's a kid that.
They know Antonio? How do they know Antonio?
What does it have to do with Antonio, though?
Because I feel like
Antonio
no, I met Antonio in Raton. Okay, I landed up having kids with him. He had a completely different life before I met him. He was incarcerated for 10 years. He knew a lot of people that I didn't know. Anytime that people would come around, he'd keep me in the car, keep me in the house. And when I went, the only reason why people at the motel even knew somewhat of me is because my house was in a fire, and we had told people there, and they were, I took it as they were trying to help me.
Your parents and his parents were in a custody battle over your children.
Yes.
So what does this have to do with the guy in the video?
Those are people that he knows.
Yes.
You were with him. There's what I'm getting at. Because I don't want to hide the ball. I'm going to walk out of the room without getting any information. We're going to go to trial. I'm going to charge you with first-degree murder. I've amended the indictment to felony murder. You came out of the room with an extra bag. You guys went in. Here's what I believe. And I'm going to argue this to the jury. You went in the room to rob this guy, and you did. And things went south. Maybe you didn't intend to kill him, but with felony murder, it doesn't matter. If somebody dies,
I never
during
went
the
there to try to
commission of felony,
rob anybody. I didn't know anything.
you came out with an extra bag.
That was my bag. That was
You don't have to say anything. You see, your fate doesn't get decided by arguing with him right now. It gets decided by the jury. But he's just telling you what his approach is going to be. Okay?
But I'm asking you where that bag came from. You went in the room with the one bag, you came out with an extra bag. Is that not accurate? I want to catch this guy because I believe he's more culpable.
And I think
If you don't get
at
us
this
information-
point,
I'm trying to figure it out, and I want to know.
Are we done? We're done. So that's it.
Angel, if you reach the maximum of where you can go, that's okay.
Thank you.
Because today, don't decide. Bird, thank you.
This is well, I appreciate you.
This was fun. Here.
Thank you.
We're going to keep working on this until we get
So
to.
got nothing else. Got nothing else. So you want to tell me who the guy is? But that's the only thing.
On October 16, 2025, Angel Salazar was sentenced to life in prison for felony murder, second-degree murder, and tampering with evidence in connection with the brutal killing of Ramon Martinez.